man, he's fallen on hard times. Jim Boeheim, Hall of Fame head coach, and now he's relegated to being in our bracket challenge, a celebrity bracket challenge. And right now he's in second place, but
Oh,
he's got Duke winning it all. Whereas,
uh-oh.
yeah, Marvin Prince, who never played basketball, never coached basketball, and he's got UConn winning it all. And he's first.
He's winning.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Sometimes you can know too much about basketball, I think, when you fill out these brackets. What do you say?
This year it was really hard. Doesn't matter what you know. I'm surprised. I mean, what is there, 4 people in this contest? Is that why I'm second? Because I'm, I'm shocked. It's really, this has been the craziest tournament. We now have balance. We've said that for years, but then always there's two number ones or three number ones in the finals. Not anymore. It's really equal platforms for everybody, and it might be a good thing. But I know one thing: I'd rather watch the women's teams play than the men's right now. Watching Caitlin Clark from Iowa. I mean, I think that was probably the most exciting player that I've seen in the Final Four in either tournament in a long time. What an impressive player.
Rarely do you have a great scorer who's the best passer in America as well. But
I mean, unbelievable what she did. And, it's funny because I was coming back to the hotel. I walked in the hotel, and this little short guy comes up to me and says, "Great career," and everything. And I realized it was the point guard from Kansas State. And he is small. I mean, they say 5'8". I'm not sure, but he was one of the best passers I've seen for a point guard in a long. I mean, the imagination of his pass. But Caitlin Clark, she's an unbelievable kind of player. I had seen her a little bit during the year, but sometimes you think, well, can they do that in this tournament against, South Carolina, against LSU? Amazing, amazing player.
how do you, when you know how a game is being called, because that game it
Uh,
felt like it was physical, but they were calling ticky tack fouls. How do you, as a coach, adjust?
it's hard. I mean, the players have to adjust. When they start calling things early, as a coach, I really like it when they call stuff early and kind of get the physicality out of the game because I think we have too much of it. But I watched in the two games. Caitlin Clark didn't really get any favors. I didn't think in the two games I saw. I mean, there was a lot of no calls that I thought were what was that. But at the end of the day, you just adjust and you play, and the officials don't decide the game. I mean, if it's the last play of a game, like in one game we saw, then they can decide it. But over the course of the game, you're going to get those calls close.
UConn, when UConn is in a Final Four championship game, UConn wins. So if we go back to 1999, they win championships, but we
Yes.
somehow don't include them in with Kansas and Kentucky and Duke and UCLA. Why aren't they considered maybe a blue blood nationally?
Well, the one thing I know, Jim Calhoun's one of the best coaches I've ever coached against, and I've been lucky to coach against a lot. And I think he's hard to like. Sometimes the media doesn't like him. It's kind of like me; they don't like me. You might a little bit, but the rest. But I think because of that personality, I don't think Jim gets the credit. You have to understand, he won three at Connecticut. This was a Yankee Conference school before he took over. To win at Kansas, to win at Duke, to win at Kentucky, it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy for anybody, but you got a heck of a lot better chance to get the kind of players you need at those schools to win. And so what Jim did, and now what Danny's done, um, those are big time coaching moves. This is not a blue bud, but they've made themselves into that. And Jim didn't get nearly enough credit. When you ask somebody who are the best five coaches, Jim Calhoun's not mentioned. You go Krzyzewski, you go Self, you go Roy Williams, you go a lot of places. And Jim's not mentioned. He is. I mean, he is one of the. He may be better. than those guys for what he did, where he did it. And I don't think he's gotten the credit. When he got there, he won, and it's not easy to do any of that stuff. And Danny has done an unbelievable job. They clearly have the best team, and usually at this stage, uh, the best team will win. Sometimes the best team doesn't get here, but usually at this stage, the best team will win. I like San Diego State. They play hard. They're really good defensively. We played them 2 years ago, same guys, and they're much better, much more physical. But it'll be a mountain to climb for them to beat Connecticut.
We're talking to Jim Boeheim, the former Syracuse head coach. I was wondering about this now, Coach. I heard Bruce Pearl talk about this. Why recruit that kid out of high school, spend a couple
Yes.
of years, and maybe you get him for 1 year? Why not just wait and do what UConn did? Just bring in all these players. Even Kim Mulkey at LSU, bring in all these players.
Well, the success has been there with multiple teams. I'm not going to go through the list. I get in trouble when I do that. But the transfer portal, NIL, changed college basketball. You look at teams in our league went from the bottom to the top in 1 year. And you get veterans, seniors, 23 years old. I don't care how good the freshmen are. And the other thing with bringing in freshmen, if you bring in 3 or 4, they don't play a lot because they're freshmen. They're leaving, so you lose. It doesn't do you any good to play them because you lose them. So, I mean, we recruit freshmen. I think you should recruit freshmen, but you better have portal guys, and especially when you get down a spot or two, you have to plug somebody in those spots. It's not always that easy. Remember, about 600 of the 1,600 didn't get a scholarship in the portal. And about half the players that did get scholarships in the portal, over half did worse where they transferred to. So the portal is not an automatic. It's you got to get the right portal. It's just like you got to get the right freshman. You got to get the right portal guy who fits your program, who can, if he's moving up, can move up. Some guys lower level, they don't do so well when they move up to a higher level. So it's a tricky, difficult thing, but it's what college basketball is now, being in the NIL game and the transfer portal. And I've talked to a lot of people about this, and there is no solution. Forget Congress. They're having trouble debating, where they put the toilets down there, some days. So we're not going to get a solution there. We have to find a solution. And there really isn't one because the players, Supreme Court players can get whatever they want, whatever, you can't limit it. And the boosters are involved and agents are involved. So, hey, you're a young coach, you figure it out. Just like every other problem in the history of the sport, this is the biggest one that I've seen.
And you're out of it.
And I'm out of it and not unhappy about that. But
hey, did you see the NBA with this new agreement, collective bargaining agreement? It looks like the one and done is going to stay in college basketball.
Yeah, everything. I don't listen to everything that's supposed to happen. I don't think they want young players. I don't think they ever have. But I think it's good for some guys. Just go. But I don't think it changes anything really. If you get the best freshmen, they can play right away, and you're okay. But there's a few of those. How many of those are there? 20, maybe. I don't know. It's a small number, but we can't react to the NBA, what they do, what we have to figure out a way to. There's so many things that could happen. All these young guys that do go after a year, there used to be a mechanism where it was actually a rule was proposed. They don't make it, let them come back to college. And it was, well, they got paid. Well, now everybody's getting paid. So if a whole bunch of young guys go out, they see what happened, and there's a big number that see pretty quickly. I'm going to have to play in East, Bavaria someplace. Maybe I should go to college. Let them come back. Those are good players. Those are really good college players. Let's let them come back and go to college. I mean, it's something that was proposed in the past. Other sports have done it. I think it's something that could happen. But now that I have nothing to do, I can think of all this stuff. And you should go to Mike Krzyzewski, you should go to Roy Williams, you should go to some coaches that been there recently. Ask them for their input. You have basketball committee members, and they're trying. I know a couple of guys. They're not basketball people. Talk to basketball people. You get to seeding. It's okay to consider the whole season, for example, for getting in the tournament. I understand that. But if you're playing in November winning and you're playing in March and losing 4 or 5 games in a row, you're not a high seeded team. You're just not. You can actually base your seeding on how a team's playing the last 10 games. If you don't want to eliminate somebody from the tournament because they lose 6 games, 7 games out of 10, all right, I'll go with that. November's important. But when you come to seeding a team, it's how they're playing right now that's important. And I worry if Florida Atlantic loses their tournament, they're not out. They're not in the tournament, and they certainly should have won the other night. Could have easily, and they wouldn't be here. And you look at a couple of the NIT teams; they're really good. So there's so much balance now. It used to be. They used to say it's balanced, but then those teams again trying to get beat by 20 or 30. This is not the case anymore. Teams are good. They deserve a chance to play. It's easy to expand the tournament. You have a play-in site right now. Hasn't diluted the tournament, helped the tournament. We got there through the play-in site 1 year. So you have 3 play-in sites, get another 12 teams in, just like that. And you do it at the site where the tournament is that weekend. Now the team that wins it, the 2 teams that win it, don't have to travel. They're right there. And it's easy, and you really pick up. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that could get in, but you'd get those NIT teams that were really good. You get them in the tournament, and it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't dilute anything because after 1 game, everybody's that's not good is gone anyway. So it's something they should do, but we'll see what happens. But the game is a great game. I mean, the balance is there, and that's good for fans, good for spectators. See that happen. My team can get there. Whoever thought 2 teams from Florida would be in the Final Four years ago? Whoever thought Alabama would be good in basketball years ago? And anybody can get there. Blue blood's still going to get through sometimes, but it's harder. It's harder now for sure. I mean, you look at the top 2, 3 teams in the country this year: Kansas, Purdue. They were really good. They couldn't get by a round or 2. It's just the way college basketball is. I mean, when you were number 1 seed before you won your second game, then you started thinking about the tournament. It's not the case anymore.
Looks like you're getting more hair. I mean, you seem like you got better color, and I mean, I think retirement's treating you well.
It's probably your eyes. You're probably getting a little old.
That's true.
You need a little better glasses.
I think your wife is praying that she gets worse eyesight then.
My wife is so happy today. She's going to see her number 1 son in Czech Republic today. She hasn't seen him in 7 months. If it was me, she would not even be packed yet. She wouldn't even be. We're ready to go to the airport like 4 hours ahead of time. She's going to see Jimmy. If it was me over there, she would probably be sending me a letter or something. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure if she'd do that. But hey, I had an unbelievable run. I never thought it would happen. It's just like you. You never thought you'd be doing this great things for so long. You thought you'd be pumping gas or something. I know that. But anyway.
Well, hopefully I never fall prey to the only thing I'm doing is a celebrity bracket challenge on a radio show. So if I get that low, then.
Hey, I've been offered 4 jobs in the media since.
Have you really?
In 4 weeks. So how tough can it be? How tough can it be? I've never worked in the media. I've never aspired to work in the media.
Oh, you've worked on the media.
Well, I actually like the media. Just there might be a couple, but other than that, I enjoy the media. I always have, and it can't be that hard if
No,
they're
it's not.
trying to hire me. I
It's
mean,
not.
holy cow.
Well, they're hiring you for eye candy, I think. That's what it is.
Look at the face.
Oh, I
No.
know. Oh, don't I know? Hey, safe travels there. And
It'll probably be radio. That way they don't have to look.
yes, yeah. I made a career out of it. Coach, safe travels.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it.
that's Jim Boeheim, and that would be his wife in the background giggling.